is Mr. Sascha Menges, the president of the Husqvarna division. Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome to the forest. Welcome to the woods. Are you all okay? Yes. Great bunch of people. Thanks for joining us today to, as Margie said, a very important event and day. There's people from all over Europe in this room, and we're streaming this live to the world. Because we've got some, as I would say, some important things to share. And we've got some three important birthdays to celebrate. If you look at these beautiful pictures, 330 is one of the birthdays, 330 years. We celebrate this year as Husqvarna company 330 years of history, of turning technology into opportunities, passion for innovation, and shaping great customer experiences. This is what the Husqvarna Group stands for. Since 330 years, and it actually started here on this premises in this old smithy 330 years ago. 100 years ago, another great anniversary for us to celebrate. We launched our first lawnmower to the market, which you see here in the middle. And 60 years ago, we launched our first chainsaw to the market. So, and that's all happening in 2019, and it's a great moment in time and a great year to celebrate something else, and that is that we're launching another new product, another chainsaw to the market, which, as we feel, confirms and underlines our innovation power. So why are we here? Because we're launching a new chainsaw, and we're launching a new 50cc chainsaw, 50 cubic centimeters, which we believe, and you will learn more about, we see as a game changer to the industry. The 50cc segment is an extremely important segment for professional tree workers around the globe. It's a core segment for us and for any chainsaw producer or the whole chainsaw industry. Why? Because it's an application that is relevant in multiple areas, both where we work on the ground or professionals working in the forests or professionals working with urban tree care. It's a saw that every professional largely has in his equipment, arborists and loggers alike. It's a go-to segment, the 50cc chainsaw. And that's globally. It's not specific to a single market. It's a chainsaw segment that is equally utilized and important, whether it's up here in Sweden or all the way down to New Zealand. So it's a very important and global category, and as it is global, we're not only launching the 50cc in a couple of markets, we will launch our new chainsaw that you will hear so much more about in a couple of minutes. March 15, globally, around the world. And as of March 15, help professional tree workers to be even more effective and deliver even higher performance to them. But before looking out and talking more about this, which I will also pass on to a lot of much more knowledgeable, experienced colleagues, let me also look back. 60 years of chainsaw. 1959, we launched our first chainsaw, and we would like to use what normally is referred to before Christ and after Christ to before chainsaw and post chainsaw. The chainsaw is a very important product, and before it was invented, obviously trees were also managed and cut, but it was tough. It was extremely hard work, and since the first chainsaws came to the market, that has changed significantly. And the work became so much more efficient, fast, and has developed and evolved over the last 60 years quite a bit. We are all forestry and chainsaw enthusiasts in here, I would argue. And of course, we all know that a chainsaw is more than a product. It's such an important tool, and it's a partner, a solution for the experts in the forest. And hence, this product is so important. And it had a huge impact on society, because as the work in the forest became more efficient and faster, also the access to trees became easier and people had faster and better access to wood, with all the positives that are coming with it. Gent, who you will get to know in a second, says that people need trees, and of course we need chainsaws to help them in this, because chainsaws are needed to manage trees. And since 60 years, as Andreas, who you will also meet in a second, will explain, since 60 years, Husqvarna has contributed to the development and the technological advancement of the chainsaw business with lots and lots of innovations. Very big ones, very small ones, because that technology is also a lot about details and innovation in a lot of very important details. And 2019, again, we pushed the limits with a new chainsaw coming out to the market to make work for our forest experts and tree experts even better. A chainsaw that we will produce here, where it also started for us 60 years ago. But before we look even more into some of this 60-year history, let me also say something about the future. There's a lot of mega trends in the world or happening around us that are also supportive and positive as it relates to forests and also the application of saw chains. Wood is arguably the most renewable and sustainable, or one of the most renewable and sustainable resources we have. It is used in so many applications. And it's not just the traditional use as material for building furniture and other things. It is also applied nowadays in very different areas, whether it becomes part of fuels, whether it replaces plastics even, and the forest management is a huge means in order to supply the wood as needed. Urbanization, another mega trend that is leading to more parks within urbanized areas, green spaces where trees and especially tree care is of huge importance, because trees carry a huge value from a noise reduction, from an emission reduction perspective, a theme that is dear to our heart and we talk a lot about also as part of our Silent City ambitions. And arborists around the world are helping to increase the health of trees and hence the health of urban green spaces. There's also a new generation of forestry experts evolving, and what was historically quite separate qualifications or competences, whether you were harvesting or logging in the forest versus caring for trees in more urban areas, this becomes much more joint competence and qualifications, and these two fields are moving together. The next generation of forestry workers is actually much more engaged in both sides, and hence it is also so important to have a saw chain that supports both of these segments. The loggers and the arborists, you may argue, perhaps we will talk in some time out about the loggerists, I don't know, but of course we have already the right product and solution for them. It's this next generation that will also shape a lot of the future. We have a lot of the technological means at our hands nowadays, but it's also experts that have been quite involved already also in testing intensively back and forth our new product, and you will hear more about this also during the next, during today and tomorrow. But before we talk more about what's coming, let us spend even some more time looking back. And I would like to hand over to Andreas Rangert, our head of product management and development in the Husqvarna division. Andreas, come on stage. And I thank you all once more for coming, and I wish us some great hours ahead of us experiencing this great new product. Thanks.
Hello everybody, nice to see you. As you understand, this is quite proud day for us, being here today with you and launching a great product as well, with many hours of work built into it, for sure. I will talk a little bit about innovation. You heard Sasha mention that we claim that we are innovation leader, and we do. I truly believe that. And I will also take a little bit on a journey, as Sasha said, the 60-year journey that we have experienced and that we're now building further on going forward. But innovation as such, what does it mean for us, really? And also, what does it not mean for us? I think it's important to state that we, as a company, see innovation as something that you use for the user, for the benefit of the user, really. Not building into things, features, benefits, technology, just for the sake of it. This picture, I don't notice we saw in knife market, so that might be an unfair example, but and maybe users need all these features that are built in on this, or maybe they don't, I don't know. But my point is really that we see the features and the technology that we build into our products as really something that we want our users to take benefit of. So, looking at this user-centric design then, and the innovation that we are really trying to achieve, we are not always chasing the catalog values. Those are important, absolutely, and we have specifications that need to fulfill. But it's also what you experience when you're out there working with the products and the solutions. And it goes for hardware solutions as well as software solutions or digital solutions as well going forward to a large extent. But we use our customers. You will meet them, as Margareta said, our H team that we have, which we work a lot with, but also customers all over the world really. So for instance, weight. If you look at the catalog value for weight, that's one thing, but it's also the experienced weight that you experience when you use the product that is really important. And Jent and also Anders that we'll meet will talk much more how we build this into our products, what are the things that we do to really make the usage of the product and the complete system as beneficial and productive as possible for the customer. 60 years of chainsaws and innovation leadership we mentioned, and of course it started here. 1959 we saw this was what's called a Husqvarna 90 model. Was really a little bit of a skunk work actually, building on the engine, two-stroke engine expertise that we had in the company back then. But trying that into other applications. So that in itself is something that I think has shaped Husqvarna over 330 years to adapt and transform depending on what the trends and the shifts are in the industry, not only the industry we were at that time, but other industries as well, like robotic mowers, for instance, that you all know about as well. But comparing to what was mainly available in the market for the professional user, of course, this was a true innovation, user benefits, user-friendly chainsaw that you could actually carry in a good way by yourself. So that was the first start. Moving then ahead 10 years to 1969. This is the Husqvarna 180, and of course the main benefit with this was also something that our customers or our users have suffered from, vibrations and white fingers. So what we introduced here was what we call the two-mass principle, i.e. we separated the handles from the actual engine piece, the vibrating part of the product, meaning that the vibrations when you hold the product is reduced by big magnitude. So that was really something that improved the working climate, working environment for our customers. Next step, another 10 years. We're moving into what is this? Now I'm a bit confused here. This is the 162, sorry, I'm lost here. Yeah, no, this is the 75, sorry, 6 years only. So this is Husqvarna 162. Where we introduced electronic ignition systems. Of course, those were mechanic before, but we also introduced inertia-initiated chain brakes, which of course was a safety feature because it's a dangerous tool, we all know that. So we worked quite a lot with safety features in the past as well, and also now going forward, we will do that. So the chain brake, of course, instant stop when something happens or you get a kickback is truly important. Now we jump to 1989, and this is the Husqvarna 262, where we introduced what we call the air injection, meaning that the intake air that you get for the engine, of course, and also for the cooling is separated. So you get clean air to the engine, and you get the cooling air with all the debris going out of the chainsaw again. And 97% cleaner air than before, using the centrifugal forces as well. So this was another important benefit or innovation that we had. Another 10 year, this is the 346 XP, which actually exists still today in some markets, not all, but some. This was the first chainsaw with a snap-lock cylinder cover, and you can argue, okay, is that a big innovation? For the customer, the user, yes, because you can use the tool less. You can just use the existing wrench you have and open up the cover and then change the spark plug or change the filter, whatever you need to do. So that was one thing on this one. Another thing that we introduced here is the trio brake, another safety feature that we introduced, the right-hand chain brake then, for even improved safety, which is quite common at least in the Nordic countries. So it's something that we shows our ability to adapt to local requirements as well. This is 576 XP 2006, the first chainsaw we launched, and the first in the world actually, that was launched with an electronic carburetor, altitude we call it. Of course, that adjusts automatically for altitude, for fuel types, for humidity and temperatures, so you don't have to do that manual adjustment when you use the chainsaw. So that's really something that also benefits, the user benefits from. And 1 year ago, roughly, we introduced the new 572 XP, the 70cc product that we launched last year. It was the next legendary chainsaw, we called it. And now we start looking on the whole system to a large extent, the complete cutting solution, which we build further on using our own chain as well, which we develop here at Husqvarna. So now we're starting to take the next step into the future with the complete cutting system control, so to speak. And today, the next generation of 50cc chainsaws. And to talk about that a little bit more in detail is the true forestry expert we have in the company, Mr. Jens Simmons.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Andreas. As you mentioned, the next legendary chainsaw was actually just a little more than a year ago that we launched the 572 and 565. I think many of you might have been there, actually. So it was a really great moment for us. Very proud of the past year and more that we've had. But today is about the new generation of chainsaws. So I think it's time to unveil. Right?
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see the new generation 550 XP Mark II and 545 Mark II. So, so we're very proud of the saws that you see here. As you said, a lot of work to get to this point. But we're going to talk with myself, Anders is going to join me in a moment. We're going to talk a lot about what goes into making this product what it is. But I'm going to start just for a moment on the why it's so important to offer this particular saw with this particular technology at this particular time. So with that, let's dive in. Yes, thank you very much. So why? If we just focus on the what, and we are only focused on, as Andreas mentioned, the catalog values, the more, let's say, simple things that we need to be attacking, and we don't really get the why. Why does the customer need what they need? Why does the customer appreciate a certain feature or a certain way the saw operates over another? If we don't understand that why, then a company is going to produce the wrong what. So we have to start with a deep understanding of the why. And from my point of view and from my team's point of view, we have to go all the way back to the industry itself. And so some of what you heard Sasha say, some of what you heard Andreas say, that's the kind of things that you have to start with developing a product. So why forestry? First, why harvest forestry, or some people call it production forestry? Why do we have this in the world? And to start with, I have to say it's extremely important that we have this people benefit. We benefit not just as a company, but as a society from forestry. Production forestry, from the environmental standpoint, is one of the largest contributors in the world to actually cleaning up the environment when it comes to carbon emissions, CO2. The United States, as an example, 39% of the CO2 emissions are scrubbed from the atmosphere by the West Coast forests that are in the U.S. So there's a lot that the forests provide back to us as a society. But forestry is not also just about that. It's about the care, the maintenance, the planting, the usage, the wood products that we all benefit from. And then on the economic side, the forestry industry is 1% of global GDP. And to get more specific, forestry in a market, let's say like Germany, is a huge contributor to the economy. Over 1 million jobs in Germany alone to harvest forestry. So it's extremely important for the world, both environmentally speaking and economically speaking. But there's also urban forestry. And the saws that you see here are not just about one or the other. They're designed for both. Different designs, different development, different applications, and the reason why we have these two. And urban forestry is another very important part of why we do what we do. So our arborists, our tree care operators, our utility line clearance operators, these are the people that we're talking about. It's about making our cities a better place to live. It's about not only our cities themselves and having more green spaces, but better for the people that live there. The psychology of the city is much better. Now, getting more specific into what it really provides, it's not only the feel-good nature of it, but it's also very specifics. Like, for example, 30% of cooling energy can be reduced by having properly planted trees around buildings in the city. 20 to 50% of heating can be reduced by having trees in the right places. Healthy trees, well-maintained trees. And those trees that are well-maintained and healthy need tree care professionals that are using these saws. And then if we look at the economic side again, tree care, urban forestry, is important from that standpoint too. Another specific point. The United States has shown that tree care has grown by 2% in 2018 to the tune of about 300,000 jobs just in tree care and arboriculture alone. So that's a major contributor to the economy. And if we look at today, 50% of the population is living in cities, and the mega trend of more urban environments that are growing and more people moving to the cities. It's estimated that by 2050, up to 86% of people will live in cities. So business is booming for tree care, because as the cities grow, so will the demand on the urban forestry and increasing the urban forestry spaces. And with that, we have a long future ahead of us, and we have great products today and tomorrow that will continue to be developing to support our customers in both harvest forestry and urban forestry. So then, that's the one, that's the base of where we're working from. So then, what can we do to help? This is my own personal team forestry statement. Our forestry group inside Husqvarna have this as kind of the mantra that we live by. People need forest products and people need trees in their lives. We will provide professionals in forestry and arboriculture with products, services, and solutions that enable them to responsibly harvest our timberlands and care for our urban trees. So therefore, we will give our customers what they need to cut faster. We will develop products that will make them more productive, put more money in their pockets. They will cut faster. We will give them the ability to cut longer. We will enhance our durability any way we can to make sure that they can rely on our products. Our products are durable. Our customers can rely on us. And our customers will cut better. We will have products that will give them the height of efficiency. We understand what their needs are, that these saws will be used not only for felling trees, but for bucking and limbing and trimming and pruning and climbing and groundwork. They have to be able to operate in all kinds of conditions. And so we'll talk about that in a moment too. But this is what we live by at Husqvarna Forestry. And I'm proud of my team, and I'm proud of what we have developed here for you today. But when we're actually developing and getting into the what now of everything, we have to also dive a little deeper into what are the specific needs of those customers, the urban forester, the harvest forester, and even the landowner. The landowner is another important part. This is the farmer, the timber harvester, the timber landowner, the person that's investing in the property, that's maintaining a forest for 30 to 80 years, depending on what part of the world they're in. They're important too. So what are their specific needs? And as we travel around and we meet these customers and we work side by side with them, what we've understood is that there's really three sides of this. There's the endurance side. Those customers have to endure. They have to endure some pretty tough environments, and their products are expected to do the same thing. So we have to be, on the chainsaw side, we have to be durable. That's the baseline. That's why it's the bottom of my triangle there. That's the foundation. We have to be durable. We have to be agile, and that means that we have to be the best when it comes to maneuverability. When it comes to being able to limb, to buck, to climb, to work on the ground, that saw has to be able to work very maneuverable. And then there's performance. This is just about getting the job done as fast as possible, putting money in the professional's pocket, or getting them back home to their families earlier. Whatever drives them, drives us. But performance is key to our operators. So if we put all that together, durable product for endurance, high maneuverable product for agility, and high performance product. And how we're going to quantify that, we're going to talk a lot about this, is cutting capacity. That's our measure. That's the standard that we will measure ourselves by to make sure that we are giving our customers what they need. And we're going to talk more about that in a moment. We get out with the customers, and we also understand that it's not just another tool. These chainsaws that you see here are not just another hammer. I know people that name their chainsaws. I don't know anybody that has named their hammer. These are very close to the arborist, very close to the forestry worker. That's why we actually call them forestry experts internally. They are experts, and they are this is an extension of them. So it's got to be a precision piece of equipment they can rely on. We have to deliver and meet global demands. It's not just about the best product for Sweden, it's about the best product for Europe, United States, emerging markets, Australia, New Zealand, Asian countries like Japan. All these markets need to be considered when we're developing. So it's the application and it's the markets, because different markets have different needs too. We have to be efficient in our design. We can't produce 6 different chainsaws for these applications for all around the world. But we can be smart, and we can provide our customers with a worldwide platform that has 2 models, the ones that you see here, but that can work with 3 different applications. And that's what our journey, that's how we set out this journey, and we've succeeded. But we also have to be responsible about what we do as well. These chainsaws, the 550 XP and the 545 Mark II, will be used globally. They'll be used in every market around the world and for every application type. However, even though certain markets don't make demands of us to meet certain emission requirements, we will only distribute products, these chainsaws, with the highest standards of emission compliance all around the world. We will be responsible no matter where we sell these products. So that's the basic of where we've come from, why we've done what we've done, and we're going to dig a little deeper into this. The 545, it's the baseline product. It's for the customer that is looking for a little bit better value side, is comfortable with performance that is on par with what the industry standards are. That's the 545. But if you want to take a step up, if you want to go further than what the industry has typically offered, if you want the highest levels of performance in the industry, if you want the best in-class cutting capacity, period, the 550 XP Mark II is a chainsaw for you. That's the difference in these. That's what we set out to do, and that's what we've done. This is a ground-up redesign. We are an excellent company, we have excellent products, but this is excellence reinvented. This is from the bottom to the top, left to right, a new product. And to tell us more about that, because I'm just the kind of the dreamer of all of this, the actual doer is this guy over here. This is Anders Persmeen, and he's going to take you through the what we've done in a better way. Anders.
Of course, I haven't done this design by myself. I have a great team behind me. However, my role within this project has been to lead the technical development and engineering of these Mark II models. I will hereby go through some of the improvements that we have made on the Mark II compared to the previous iteration. The focus areas we have had working with in the technical point of view are the endurance, the performance, and the maneuverability.
So we mentioned a lot before about the whys and the triangle that I put up there, the endurance, the durability, the agility, the maneuverability, the performance, and cutting capacity. But if we're going to start with endurance, and just to dig in a little deeper around this before we jump in, we've done a lot of work with our harvest foresters, our production foresters. And if you think about it, from 3 o'clock in the morning when a lot of them get up, to go to work every day, with their families relying on them to produce. Every board foot, as we would say in the U.S., every meter of wood that's cut is money in their pockets. And so the saw these people that do this hard work expect a saw to keep up with them, basically. And in the urban forestry side, these are people that take care of a city. They can take care of a city's forests. These chainsaws here will be tossed in the back of a tree truck, bounce around the city, and they have to be reliable to run in storm damage after a storm comes through, after a hurricane comes through, or to take down trees that are heavily damaged by disease, which are, if you know the business, can be very dangerous. So you have to be able to rely on these products. So I just want to set the tone for how important endurance is, because with what you've done, we're extremely impressed with how durable you've made these saws. So hopefully you can share the knowledge.
Thank you for your time.
Yes.
For Mark II, all vital parts are new. In order to get the great endurance, performance, and maneuverability, we decided to redesign the Mark II from scratch. Of course, we have used some standard components and fastening elements that we share with other platforms. What you see here on the screen are the components that we have reused from the previous model. We started to design the Mark II in the center of the product. We have a new crankshaft, a new oil pump. The clutch cover and parts of that are also new. We have, of course, the new piston, the cylinder. We also have a complete new intake system. The crankcase and the fuel tanks are also new, and of course the muffler. Surrounding parts around the engine has also been redesigned. And of course we have worked with the starter housing to even get better cooling performance. So this is just one way to demonstrate that these 2 models are designed from scratch. What you see here to the right is the airflow that goes through the product. This airflow is important for cooling the engine, but it's also important for the engine function, the performance of the engine. Particles that comes into the engine will make you wear on engine components, and this wear can result in reduced power output. It can also reduce in reduced life of the piston, the cylinder, and the bearings. In worst case, it can lead to seizures. What we have done here is to improve this. When it comes to air filtration, in my point of view, it's not just an air filter. Air filtration is much more complex than that. For Mark II, we have improved the air filtration in 3 steps. The first step starts with the large particles, the big wooden chips. We have redesigned the starter housing and the openings of of this starter housing. We have two benefits of this. We have made the total cooling airflow to be increased, but we have also been able to manage the wooden chips so we not come into the starter housing in too much. The second step of air filtration handles medium and small particles. This is done via the air injection system. We have reworked the fan and the air nozzle in order to improve the centrifugal purification of air that will be led into the filter area. We have also been able to increase the pressure in the volute. Higher pressure in the volute will result that you will have a higher pressure in the carburetor region. Higher pressure in the carburetor region will result in less dirt for the air filter to filter it. By having, the third step in air filtration handle the very small particles. In this case, we have a complete new air filter system. The filter mesh consists of 25 microns of openings. These are very, very small openings. To compensate this, we have been able to increase the total filter area. We have also integrated a rubber sealing between the filter and the filter holder. This will make sure that the air for the engine must go through the air filter mesh and not taking any shortcuts that will result in particles damaging the engine components. We have also other features. We have an easy and robust filter mounting. We have also implemented a dust barrier. On the cylinder side, you will have a high pressure and high airflow containing dust and dirt. And that's not something we would like to have into the filter area. This dust barrier is very well supported by the cylinder cover, making sure it's sealed. By having all these three improvements of air filtration, we've been able to increase the time before you need to clean or replace the air filter. And we also improved the resistance for these Smart 2 engines to not getting dirt into it, causing these failures I mentioned earlier. When we talked about the redesigning of the starter housing, how important that was for the cooling, we've increased the total cooling airflow by 30%. This will reduce the temperature of the engine, but also the product. So why is that important? Reduced temperature will make the product more durable. It will also increase the starting performance and runnability of the chainsaw. One example of how we have utilized some of the increased airflow is to transfer some of this airflow through a channel in the crankcase to the clutch side of the crankcase. By doing this, we've been able to reduce the temperatures in the crankcase and thereby also improve the screw joints between the cylinder and the crankcase. Also, the main bearing and the installation of the main bearing has taken benefits of this. Another example of how we have been working with product temperatures are the ceramic sleeve. The ceramic sleeve is placed in between the muffler and the crankcase. We know that the muffler is very hot, and the most part of the heat transfer is going by or through the contact area between the muffler and the crankcase, and not through the screw. This ceramic sleeve has a very good insulation, and by theoretical models, we have been able to design this interface so that we are at a thermal level that we consider to be proper for a real good screw joint. We have also redesigned the cylinder-based gasket. All of this to reduce the heat transfer from the cylinder to the crankcase. We have added mica, that is a silicate mineral with very good insulation. And by doing that, we have reduced the heat transfer with up to 80 degrees in the crankcase. In Mark II, even though that we have increased the power output, we decided that we wanted to reduce the thermal level of the engine. The thermal load of the engine. In this case, we have reduced the cylinder temperatures at rated speed with about 10%. This will reduce the stress level of the engine components, and it will also give you the thermal margins for overheating. So, all in all, when it comes to product cooling, I would say that the Mark II models has a very good margins for operating in tough and hot environments. Endurance is not all about product cooling. Endurance is also about adding stronger and better material in areas where we have high loads and tensions. For the handlebar, we decided that we wanted to have all force-loaded parts in metal, including the spring holder. This is a difference compared to the previous model. When it comes to the felling sights, we decided for the cylinder cover and the starter housing to have these dual injection molded. This will guarantee a long-lasting wear resistance when you're using the product. You may see that these are small changes on Mark II models, but when it comes to long-term durability, these improvements are huge. We have also redesigned other components in this product for increased durability. The main bearings have a more solid installation in the crankcase. We have the new, stronger crank pin bearing that stands higher loads. The crankshaft and the connecting rod, the piston, the cylinder are also reinforced for increased durability and for performance during a long time. The muffler has a larger volume compared to the previous model. This larger volume will make the engine to breathe in a better way. This will give us higher power output, but it will also reduce the thermal load of the engine. The cylinder-based gasket, as I mentioned earlier, has this mica coating. We have also integrated a rubber sealing in this cylinder-based gasket. This will secure that you will have no leakage between the cylinder and the crankcase. This is very good for durability, but also for the starting performance and runnability. When it comes to startability, the Mark II has been improved by the following steps. The reduced temperatures of the product will make us having better control of air fuel mixture in the crankcase. The heat barrier between the cylinder and the carburetor will make sure that you're reducing the temperatures of the carburetor. This is extremely important, especially in hot environments. The reduced temperature will also reduce the risk for the fuel to vaporize earlier than it should. We have also a complete new ignition system with more energy. More energy will give us a spark that burns for a longer time. This is important when you want to ignite the air fuel mixture in the combustion chamber at the starting sequence. We have also improved the cylinder. The design of the scavenging ducts will make us having a higher charging efficiency of air and fuel mixture. We also have new carburetors, and the auto-tune is also updated to give us the best performance when it comes to startability. For the 545 Mark II, we also equipped this product with an easy start. This is a recoil device that will smoothen out the pull when you're doing the starting operation.
I guess the entire system is important to talk about as well. We have, of course, worked many hours to make sure that the power head, the engine itself, is designed to be as reliable and durable as possible. But the system, what the customer really cares about is you have to make sure the entire product does its job. The power head, the chainsaw itself, the bar, the chain, all has to work together. This bar has actually been designed together with our chainsaws for the intended applications that they're intended for. So the durability has to be increased across the system. And you'll see here some of the points that we've focused on. When it comes to the bar itself and the sprocket area of the bar, we have an increased size sprocket, 11-tooth sprocket. More bearings have been added as well, but also those bearings are protected and covered in a better way than previous. The rivets also that hold the system together, we've increased to 5 rivets, which is much more holding strength and much more durable for the applications, especially when you get into the bucking and limbing exercises. The shape itself has been improved and optimized to carry the chain in a good way, and for the rails to hold the bar, the rails to hold the chain in a better way. And then the riveting pattern itself has been improved, not only just for durability, but also for stiffness. Again, getting back to the limbing application, for that high-speed limbing that is done, and the twisting that could take place even in the falling applications. But it's not just about the durability on the bar, the weight's been reduced as well. So we've taken all these measures to increase the durability, but at the same time, we've actually reduced the weight. And the reduced weight on the bar, in this case, does help with the maneuverability side. And so if we move to the next section, we'll actually talk a bit about maneuverability. So this is, I think, something that we are oftentimes, in looking into the industry, not paying enough attention to, is how the saw actually works with the operator. It's not just about reducing weight, it's about the experienced weight, as you mentioned before, Andreas. It's about having the right gyroscopic effects, the right balances, the right center of gravity. Because the limbing, the bucking, the falling, all have to work with the operator to meet the maximum efficiency and productivity. So I could keep explaining this, or I could actually show you a brief clip about what maneuverability really is about for the operator. This is a typical limbing application here in Sweden, actually, but you see the same around the world. The saw has to work with that operator. That particular person there is actually really good in his job. He does it often, and you can tell that. But if he has a machine that's not working with him, the machine will, of course, work against him. And if that's the case, it makes him more tired during the course of the day. It takes his efficiency levels down, and then at the end, be you in harvest forestry or even in the tree care environment, it either takes money out of your pocket or slows you down getting the jobs done. But again, there's a lot of things that you've done here to improve this and to keep this more or less a core part of Husqvarna's DNA alive and taking the next steps.
Yeah. As Jen said, the maneuverability is a really big part of the Husqvarna DNA. And it has also been highly appreciated on the previous models. With that in mind, we keep the same expectations and standards when it comes to Mark II. The outward clutch design will make a closer position of the guide bar and the chain to the center of the product. It will distribute the mass in a better way, but it will also keep the chainsaw body more narrow. We have the small flywheel, which is the same as from the previous generation. This will make the gyroscopic forces to keep the gyroscopic forces to a minimum. And it will also result in less resistance when you're moving the chainsaw around. We also kept the tilted design of the engine. This will keep the product as compact as possible, and you will also have the center of gravity very low. Another thing that was requested on Mark II was to increase the distance between the front handlebar and the cylinder cover due to improved maneuverability. In some cases, it seems to be too tight, especially if you're in winter time or limping with thicker winter gloves. So what have we more done to improve the cutting control and the limbing control? we've increased the distance between the front handlebar and the rear handle by 10 millimeters. This will give you more stability and control during the cutting operation. As I mentioned, we will increase the distance between the cylinder cover and the front handlebar, but we have also moved it 5 millimeters forward. That will improve the limping control. We have made all these changes with a mindset to provide excellent maneuverability with the chainsaw.
We've taken some big steps when it comes to endurance and some big steps when it comes to maneuverability. But we've also taken a really big step when it comes to performance in getting the job done. And I have these cylinders that sit on my desk, and this is actually what 1 second of cutting looks like with the 550 Mark II and with another saw on the market. And when you look at this 1 second, it's a good representation of what you're gaining in performance. This is what best-in-class cutting capacity looks like. But it may be a little hard for you to see. So this is 1 second of cutting. And we went ahead and made it a little bit, so we scaled it up for you. So this is 1 minute of cutting of best-in-class cutting capacity looks like. So now you take this and you say, what does a day look like? What does a week, a month, a year look like in best-in-class cutting capacity? What does it really mean? It means, again, more money in your pocket or getting the job done in a faster, more efficient way. That's what cutting capacity is. That's what performance is. And I know this has been a huge part of your team's work, so again, I'll turn it over to you.
Then we have a movie to show.
It's a very rigorous test procedure because we want this to be able to stand up to scrutiny. So what we do is we take 15 brand new chainsaws straight from the production line and test them with brand new, never before used cutting equipment. First in softwood, and then we do the entire thing again in hardwood. And all of these chainsaws has to make 3 valid cuts each. And we measure how long time it takes to make those cuts. Well, because traditionally when it comes to chainsaws, performance has been defined as power and weight. However, with Husqvarna, we believe that performance isn't just how much a product weighs, how much power it is. It is how productive it makes our users. So that's why we came up with a new test that we call cutting capacity. That is a measurement of how well a chainsaw performs its intended task. So what we do is we measure the time it takes to cut through a log with a certain cross-section area. And what you end up with then is the result in square centimeters per second. And cutting capacity is important because, I mean, the more wood you can cut in less time, the more productive you are. And the more productive you are, I mean, that's money in your pocket as longer. We unpack our chainsaws on film. We show the serial numbers. The chainsaws never leaves the frame during the entire test. And after the test when we're done, we're saving the chainsaws as they are, not touched afterwards. That includes cutting equipment. So if anyone wants to come and look at the chainsaws we used, they are available here at Husqvarna. So now we're back a couple of months later. The test rig is silent and the testing is finally done. And we're very happy to say that we were able to prove what we've always thought, that our product has the best-in-class cutting capacity. And what that means is that we can with confidence say that any customer of ours, whether it's a single operator with one chainsaw or an entire company with a fleet of chainsaws, is that when they use the 550 XP Mark II, they are going to have the highest productivity in the market today.
Okay, so what we have done more with these Mark II chainsaws? The Mark II chainsaw still have the same 50cc stroke volume as the previous models. But due to redesign of the engine layout, the reduced restrictions in the inlet system, the larger volume of the muffler, and the updated carburetor and auto tune, we have been able to increase the power output for both 545 and 550 Mark II. This power and increased torque are also available in a wider range of RPM. And this is one of the key contributors for the increased cutting capacity.
But the chain is, of course, a major part of it. Just like we mentioned before, with the bar being so important for durability and maneuverability, the chain is a key component in the total system that gets cutting capacity, gets the cutting capacity results that we test for and prove. So, a number of things go into it, but again, like we mentioned before, the design of our chain is now linked closely with the design of the chainsaw and the bar. We look at the applications needed, we look at the chainsaw design, and we come up with the right elements in the design of the chain to make it the most productive chain we can possibly make for the saw. The chain cutter tooth has five key points that we need to make sure we optimize. And the team spent a lot of time in those 5 key spaces, making sure that we can clear chips in a good way, that we can separate the fibers in a good way, and again, matching it to the power output, the torque, the speed of the engine that is driving it. The chain itself is, in this particular instance, is a narrow curve chain, which is the ideal chain for the 50cc when it comes to getting the cuts done quickly and efficiently, and matching it again to the power output of the engine itself. There is a durability element to our new chain. The X-Cut chain that we produce has oil grooves built into the drive links to make sure that oil gets spread through the rivets and around the chain in a good way, helping it not only from a durability standpoint, but also being lubricated in a good way for performance. And then keeping the operator in a high performance state, we also pre-stretch the chain. This pre-stretching of the chain in the manufacturing process makes sure that our customers aren't having to continuously tighten the chain on the bar, which takes them down and basically takes away the uptime that they have for their application. So chain, bar, and power head all come together in these 3 elements of endurance, maneuverability, agility, and performance. Okay, so even though that power is very important when you want to cut woods in an efficient way, we also think that you should have that power when you need it. Therefore, we have also improved the acceleration of the engine. This figure is 30% faster on the 550 Mark II versus the previous generation, and 25% faster for 545 Mark II versus the previous generation. This comes out of test. We have run the chainsaw, including 15-inch bar and chain with an ultimate fuel at 20 degrees Celsius. We have measured the time from idling speed up to 13,200 RPM. With this improvement, you will have the power when you need it. There's also been a request from our users that they want an increased time in use before you refuel the chainsaw. Depending on how you're running the product, the fuel consumption will differ. One way to describe that we have increased the time in use is running the chainsaw in a laboratory environment using a test cycle simulating real usage. This test cycle includes felling the tree, limbing the tree, bucking the tree, and idling when you're moving to the next tree to start the next felling operation. This improvement has been done by 2 things. First of all, we have improved the fuel efficiency. For the Mark II,
the fuel consumption in this test subject is not higher, or it's at an equal level compared to the previous model. We have also made the fuel tank and oil tank a little bit larger. So these are some of the improvements that we have made on Mark II compared to the previous generation. And of course, we have made other improvements that we take tomorrow.
Great. Thank you, Anders. Thank you also for a job well done. Yes. So we introduced to you today two new chainsaws, 545 Mark II and the 550 XP Mark II. And we talked about the applications and understanding the applications of timber harvesting and of urban forestry. These are core products for us that support our customers and get the job done in a good and efficient way. Durability, maneuverability, and performance in everything that we do. But forestry for us is so much more. And so I leave with you today the picture of who we really are when it comes to how we can help forestry, urban forestry and timber harvesting. We are about the core product. We're also about safety, uncompromising on safety. And our PPE and our core products prove it. We make oils and fuels and forestry tools. We make, of course, cutting equipment like we've talked about, and we have the best spare parts to back up our products. We're even launching leisure wear for our customers. Forestry is who we are, it's our core, it's our DNA, and we are very proud of the over 40,000 different ways that you can combine the products that you see here to support the customers that we so like to call our family. So with that, I leave you with one statement. Trees are important. Trees are important to the world and important to people. And we're here to help in any way we can. Help the people that care for them and help the people that bring the wood products to you. And I hope you'll join us in this journey to help them. Thank you very much.